purity of thought. Just consider one thing at a time. Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now this is a general reading for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, North Node, whatever area of your chart you're wanting to look at. And if you're not familiar with your chart, there is a link in the description down below so that you can get yourself a free birth chart. All you need is the place, time and date. Well, I mean, I assume you know what day you was born, but you need the time and place as well. Always a good idea to watch your sun sign and your rising sign, and I would go as far as to say moon as well, but you know, there's only so many hours in the day. But if you're going to watch one of the others, the rising is important. In ancient astrology it was the most important. So being a general reading rules apply. Roles can be reversed. You've heard this all before. Timing is not absolute, but what I would like you to do is ask a question prior to this reading. Basically spend a moment, pause if you need to, and excuse me, think about all of the questions that are around you at the moment and isolate one of them and focus on it. But be aware of all of them, because the cards will answer whatever they please and not necessarily what you and I think is the most important question. Basically, your act of focusing on it gives energy to the process. Hopefully I return that energy back to you. If not, the universe will find a way. So housekeeping, there's a link also down below to a Facebook page for this channel. There, I said it right because I keep saying Facebook group. Now it has its own inbox, so if you want to contact me directly for a personal reading, that's the way to do it. I mean, I am on Tumblr as well and Twitter, and the details are down below. Also, there is a link to the playlist of Pluto conjunction that just occurred. Now, I say it's just occurred. It went exact. But it's with us all year. You know, I did, for when it went exact, when Jupiter was direct, I did a set of readings for that. I done another set of readings, now it's gone retrograde. But back in November, it happens all over again. It's literally forward, back, forward. So, yeah, have a look at those because the energies will last for quite some time. As soon as I finish these readings, I'll be doing the full moons. Then I'll be moving on to my Chinese zodiac readings for the month. So have a look at those when they come up. June's are already out, obviously. And they went quite well. I really enjoyed working with the Chinese zodiac energies. It was completely different. Right, I think that's everything for the housekeeping. If not, all the details about the reading are in the description down below anyway. So let me bring up the cards, and I'm just going to pause for a moment because I've got a tickle in my throat. There we go, back again, and now let me bring the cards up. So the angel energy spread all over this reading, Capricorn, is the angel of the miracle of love. I am brought alive by the miracle of love, and which is something I think you are needing to remember at the moment. And I'll explain why as it goes along. The other oracle cards, we have surrender to the divine and take time to breathe out. I was just going to go with the first oracle card, but this other card really wanted to come out. And then finally, from the Queen of the Moon, we have purity. And that's almost talking about purity of thought, purity of intent. When I say purity, I'm not meaning like an old chivalrous purity. I'm meaning focus. Like what I was saying about the question beforehand. You know, it's you don't want to be focusing on how am I going to start up my business or get a new job or paint the house or what have you, while you're also thinking, what am I getting for my tea? How's my mother? What about this? What about that? What's about the world economic situation? One thing at a time. Purity of thought. Just consider one thing at a time, because this isn't a new idea to you when all's said and done. You've obviously gone through some form of transformation, which you were nurturing. You wanted this transformation. You were going, right, I am going to change things. So this is your past here. Ah, yes, that's what I was going to say. There's a past and a present. I knew I was forgetting something. There's a past and a present with this reading. So if the past and the present don't fit, don't try and make it fit. Go and watch your rising sign or your moon sign. Now, this transformation was something that you were working towards, something that now really, we've got the Queen of Coins here with the Judgment card. So it's a transformation that you were nurturing, that you were called to do. But we have the Watcher, Queen of Mirrors. Now, I haven't got the little booklet that goes with this, well, it didn't come with one. But I'm really brought to the idea of the concept of the Watcher. And all the many ways that that can mean. Now, firstly, for me as a comic spod, it meant Urtu the Watcher, the big bald man who lives on the moon and watches all things that happens and never intervenes, apart from when he intervenes. But you could also look, the Watcher's another name for the Nephilim. And I feel that your transformation was guided. Certainly observed, but it was observed by somebody who wanted you to make that transformation. Whether that means in spirit, or whether that means somebody down here in the real world, you know what I mean. But from that transformation, you realise that you had a new beginning, the Fool card here, but you was having plenty of options that weren't quite as clear as what you would like. And it's almost like news came to you that sent you charging off in a direction that was almost contradictory to the transformation that you'd had. It was almost like, yeah, I did all the inner work to do this transformation, but now I'm just going to do the same thing that I've always done before. Like being, say you was trying to distance yourself from the family, and all of a sudden the family pulls you into their politics again. You know, that sort of situation where you may have changed on the inside, but you weren't entirely sure that the outside world reflected that change, and that you were fully enacting that change, because you feel conflicted at the moment. You feel conflicted and you feel like things are crumbling down. Now, partly I want to say I think that crumbling is a good thing. For some reason, I don't know why. This came up in the last reading I did, Sagittarius. I really like this particular Tower card. Let me hold it. I don't know why. It just, you know, is it doesn't look any more positive than any other Tower card. But the Tower card is beginning to challenge the King of Wands as my favourite card, which probably says more about me than anything. But there's a contentment here. I honestly, looking at the two characters that are upside down, can I get this so that the air doesn't, the light isn't reflecting on it? Looking at the two characters that are upside down, I don't believe they are falling. I believe that they are stood on the air upside down, because they are maneuvering themselves away from some form of, well, the lightning bolt that comes and destroys the tower. Basically, they've it's almost like they may have been stood in the tower and they've like teleported themselves away, but flipped in the process. And that flip, it's reminding me, it's giving me that Hanged Man energy of looking at things differently. So, yes, so you are feeling conflicted because you are recognizing something differently that you are attempting to sidestep, while what it is that you are attempting to sidestep, things are tumbling down around you, because previously you had had guidance to show you how to find the value in the situation that you had come to, where this transformation was almost undermined, and you had no shortage of information coming your way, but it's almost like anxiety was preventing you from fully exploring the new role that you had created for yourself, or the new you that you had created for yourself. And you found that you were you were more imitating what you thought you were trying to be, rather than actually being it, although you received good recognition from it. So there was an element of you were faking it till you make it, apart from what I'm feeling from here is you didn't need to fake it because you had already made it. It's just the world around you was slow in catching up, but you withdrew to a certain extent. From this Hermit card, there's less I'm getting of the actual withdrawal, although there is the, going within, seeking your own inner light. There's less of that and more of the hitting the books, hitting the study, trying to figure things out. A real cerebral process of the Hermit, rather than just the spiritual find your own inner light sort of thing, but a real sort of, hang on a minute, there's technicalities here that are escaping me and I need to understand them. So, bringing us to where you are at the moment. There is a dream that you are wanting to push forward. A dream that you are seeing value in. A dream which can be brought into growth. But this is where you are conflicted, because it's like, do I do it? Do I not do it? Balance. Yes, you do it. But slowly. Not all at once. It's not like you're bursting onto stage from the wings. Da! I'm here. It's more of a slower process of integrating the transformation you have already gone through. But I also want to say, to a certain extent, completing the transformation that you have already gone through. We have the Hanged Man here. Illusionist, Knight of Stones. There is a push for you to move forward. Three of Wands here. Illusionist, the Knight of Stones. It's going to be slow progress, and everything is appearing just a little weird for you to... Oh, I just got a weird thing from that card there. It's appearing... Where I was saying you needed to fake it till you make it, even though you didn't need to fake it, I think there is an element of showing to you what around you is fake at the moment. It's almost like it's the Hanged Man card here, and it's some Victorian gentleman hanging himself in a lounge. And I am getting that sense of, well, the Hanged Man, Odin upside down on the world tree, confusion breeding wisdom, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also getting that sense of escape. And it brings to mind, and I have no idea why, I watched some cutscene movie. Can't even remember what it was called, to be honest. Last week, week before... maybe even longer ago than that. Anyway, there was this one guy that had part of his personality digitized and put into a virtual world. He hadn't actually lost anything through the well, he'd lost a few memories, but He hadn't lost anything really in the process. He was still him, but there was this other him with a completely different identity living in this virtual world. And there's that element of, yeah, I want to be out of this virtual world and see what the real world is. So I'm assuming, Capricorn, that there's a few fake things around you. Let's look at the influence of other people. I think other people are pushing you in a direction that you don't think is, entirely okay with your morals. Let's put it that way. I don't think that you're entirely comfortable with, morals is maybe too strong a word, but the direction that you are being pushed in by somebody else is not who you consider yourself to be, nor is it who you are wanting to be. And it's almost like you're seeing that there is some form of motive or all-encompassing principle guiding their advice and their actions. Not that you know the ins and outs of what that principle is, but it's something that at the end of the day, it's not your principle, it's theirs. You are being guided, you are being manipulated to fit into a round hole when you're a square peg. And there's nothing wrong with being a square peg. That's what I should call this reading. There's nothing wrong with being a square peg. But I do believe that there is, this situation should be coming to an end shortly, because information will be coming to you. It's almost like this inner conflict that you are feeling is going to manifest in some form of, I don't even want to say argument, debate, discussion, and things are going to be revealed. Now, not everything that is revealed is exactly what is, but it gives you clues as to what is. And that gives you the commitment to say, no, I'm having some clarity with how I'm moving forward. I'm going to build what I am needing to build for myself. I'm going to level up. I've had this transformation. I've not really even used it yet. It's like suddenly getting superpowers and then not fighting crime for 5 years, it's because obviously there is a duty on you to fight crime if you have superpowers. I mean, everybody knows this. That urge to level up and that urge to say, no, I'm going to put the effort into my own harvest. I'm going to be building my own sense of security, habitat, what have you. That leads you to a point of victory, a point of illumination, where it's almost like, right, so it's almost like you are going, no, I'm going to live the truth that I decided, that I was changing into. And then it's like you can broadcast that truth, not for other people to take it on board like someone was trying to get you to take on board, but just for you to go, this is what I'm doing. And that, I believe, is going to have a positive effect. It's going to have a positive effect on the people who have the eyes to see. It's also going to drive somebody away from you, possibly this person that was trying to manipulate you. It's as if they give up and go, it's not worth it. I'm not succeeding here. It's not worth the hassle. And to be honest, good riddance. Now, I don't think that's really mean, But I don't think that they're necessarily malevolent. I don't think that they're malicious. I just think that what they are wanting out of life and what they are wanting for you out of life and for you to be in life is different to what is good for you and what is more in harmony with your own inner nature, certainly your new inner nature. Because if you've managed to go through all of this year without having some form of transformation, well, then you must already be enlightened, O Buddha. Now, there is a whole new beginning from this. Once this other person disappears out of the picture, you are declaring your own empire, your own sphere of control, and forging ahead. Oh, forging ahead to with a rebirth. 9 of Wands, wounded warrior, nearly there. So nearly there as in nearly completing that transformation. But I love this particular 9 of Wands cards. This is you can tell this is a new tarot, but I absolutely adore it. Mystical manga. But we have the 2 of Mirrors, which is pretty obviously the 2 of Cups. There is a unity coming forward, and a unity that comes forward not initially in a way that you will recognize, or that you won't recognize it for what it is, because it's too important that it's something else when it starts. And the something else that it is the focus, but this unity rises out of it. And the reason I'm thinking that is the fact that they are swans. And I remember a legend, I'm sure it was Leda, that Zeus seduced in the form of a swan. And swans are sacred to Apollo, if I remember correctly. I've thought this for years, so I must have learnt it somewhere. But we'll go with that, because the swan it's a beautiful animal spirit. Obviously, with me being British, all swans belong to the Queen, just in case you didn't know. So there's that sense of status, that sense of importance. But for me, the being sacred to Apollo bit is even more important. And even if I've got that wrong, and they're not, they are in this house. But this is leading you to this is leading you to a path of really living your own spirituality. 7 of Pentacles again. Where was it? Somewhere around here. 7 of Stones. Showing that by surrendering to your more spiritual side, that is where you are bringing your empire into being. Now, you obviously have a spiritual side. You're watching a tarot reading on YouTube. But have you really surrendered to it? So yes, surrender to the divine. Or have you been still a little bit sharp-witted and a little bit too cynical for your own good? Habarim here, also known as Aim, speaks, he loves destruction. You know, he's a demon that if you was to summon him, he'll tell you the truth. But he'll tell you the truth in a way that will cause dissension. He carries a burning torch and it loves to set things on fire. And with this, we have Lehaya, the degree angel, with, Shem Hamefresh, with obedience. And I think what you need to be obedient to is not this other person, but that inner momentum, that inner, whatever started this transformation, you have not yet finished. You've done most of the inner work, but you haven't yet brought it out into the real world. But there is hope, the sun as the final card. Now, you're going to be... There's still some nightmares to face. There's still some, for you to really bring this transformation into the world, there are still some nightmares to face. But I think you're going to get to a point where you're okay with that. Because your hopes and fears, yes, you are missing out on something at the moment. And the balance that you are, the work that you are putting into maintaining the balance at the moment is not giving you the just rewards that you require. And it's all about new beginnings here on the bottom of the deck. We have the Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Coins. So Ace of Pentacles, both real world, physical world new beginnings, and the Seven of Scrolls, which is Seven of Cups. Options. You've got to take one door or the other. That's what I could call the reading as well. You've got to take one door or the other, and it's about time you take the door that you planned to whenever this transformation started. You may have been delayed, but you haven't been halted. Remember that. So take time to breathe. I know it says take time to breathe out, but just take time to breathe. There are still some obstacles and worries to confront with this, but that's okay, because this was the path that you wanted. This was the path that you were planning on going on when you arrived on the planet. Okay, so if this means anything to you, Capricorn, I mean, not too heavy, eh? If this means anything to you, comment down below. I always try and respond to my comments as fast as I discover them, which is normally within 24 hours, but can sneak into 2 weeks when YouTube hides them from me. But other than that, yeah, press the like. Oh, welcome to any new people if you've lasted this long, and feel free to subscribe. Cheers.